Hey guys, it's me Ali, and today I'm going to talk about my first tire puncture story. Now in this video I'm going to share two events with you. The first tire puncture of my life on a motorcycle, and second one would be the first tire puncture on my Bullet. Now the time I was learning how to ride motorcycle. Now this is the first time event I'm sharing with you. The time I was learning how to ride motorcycle, that was way back when I was just 14 years old or 13, I think 14 years old, and I was learning it on a motorcycle which is Yamaha RX100. I still have it, and my father used to teach me on a in a playground where people used to play cricket or sometimes football. So it was a big playground where my father used to teach me how to ride motorcycle, and I was having no idea that when the tire gets punctured, that's when the pickup reduces and the speed will reduce, and you will feel that the bike has got more heavier. And I just kept on riding, and I just felt that the bike is becoming more heavier. I didn't notice that, and the time I was finished, I went back to my dad and I told him that she's not giving that kind of pickup which she can give. And I like to call motorcycles with she. I address them with she. So I told my dad that she's not giving the same kind of pickup now. It seems to me I've done something wrong with the motorcycle. That's when my dad told me that okay, the front tire is flat, so that's the reason this is happening. So that was the first experience of a tire puncture for me on a motorcycle. And I still remember while I was riding, I noticed that okay, the front tire is flat maybe, but I thought that the air pressure is low. It's not like the tire is punctured, because it never happened before in my life, or even when my dad used to ride and I was a pillion rider, it never happened. So I was just not able to believe, and I was thinking that okay, maybe it's just a low air pressure on the front tire. But when I went to my dad and I told him that okay, the front tire looks a bit low in air pressure, but that's when he told me that okay, it's not like you have done something wrong with the motorcycle, or or there is a low air pressure in the front tire. The thing is that the tire is flat, and it has got punctured. So that was the first experience of tire puncture in my whole life. And it was I mean, on that time, of course, it was not great. It was a sad experience. I mean, we took the bike from that park to a distance of around 1 kilometer. And Yamaha RX100 is a light motorcycle, but for me, I mean, I told my dad, I took that bike from dad and I told him, no, I am going to handle it and drag it till the tire puncture guy. And it was really heavy for a 14-year-old kid. So, but my dad took it from me and he told me, no, you'll get tired. I mean, you're still not that strong to drag a motorcycle. So it was a great experience. Now when I look back at it, and now it feels like it was a great experience. But on that time it was not so great, and I just felt guilty that how can I do this tire puncture thing, how can it happen to me? But later on in your life, you realize that tire puncture is something which is not completely in your hand. I mean, you can ride with whole focus, that you'll avoid all the potholes and those small stones and pieces everywhere on the road which are there, especially when you're doing off-roading. You can try your 100% to avoid those things which can lead to a tire puncture, but of course from your end it's not completely in your hand. So that was the first time. And the second time, and it is I think also the last time. Tire puncture has only happened with me in my whole life 2 times, which is I mean, a great thing. I thank to God every time that I mean, I don't ride a tubeless tire motorcycle. The tires which I use in my Bullet or in the RX100 are the tires with tube. So they're not tubeless, but still only 2 tire punctures in my life on a motorcycle. I'm not including the tire punctures of car or bicycle. So that's great. And the second time it happened, which I should say was the first time on my Bullet. Now before I share how it happened, let me remind you that I've been to Ladakh. I've been to so many solo trips also, but it never happened. It recently happened when I came back from Ladakh and I was going to my work, and I reached at my work, and when uh, I got on my motorcycle later on in the evening to go back to home. I just started it, and the time I turned it, and I was thinking that why uh, is it getting disbalanced, and why is it so heavy? So I knew that there was a tire puncture. When I stopped the motorcycle, I looked behind in the rear tire, it was flat. So I asked someone that is there any tire puncture guy, and they told me that yeah, he's just hardly 100 meters away, and I was lucky that just at 100 meters there was a guy to fix the tire puncture. The time I reached, there was a young kid, hardly 9-10 years old, hardly 10 years old I would say, and he said that what I'm going to do is that I'm going to check if there is only one puncture or more than one. Now let me tell you, this was my second tire puncture after a span of almost 12 years. I'm 26 years old now, so after a span of 12-13 years, for the first time I had a tire puncture on a motorcycle. So the next thing I'm going to share with you might sound really stupid, but please don't forget that in last 13 years this was the first time it happened with me after that first tire puncture. So he checked it and he said that there are total 6 punctures, and I told him that I'm in a hurry, I cannot wait for you to change the tube. And I was really stupid on that time. I thought that changing tube takes more time than fixing the puncture, but I was wrong. Basically this is for all of you guys who are basically using the tube tire, not the tubeless one. Changing tube basically takes much less time rather than fixing the tire puncture, and it also depends on the mechanic, the one who is doing that. If he is really good and perfect in his work, then he will be easily able to do it. That kid told me that my guru, my ustad, what he used to, so the main person who was running that shop, he's going to come there. Till that time he will open the tire, and the time his owner will come, he's going to fix it quickly. So I told him that okay, you know what, I don't have time, and I was thinking that maybe changing the tube doesn't take that much, so changing the tube takes a lot of time rather than fixing the puncture. So I told him, you know what, you fix 6 punctures, and he was a kid, he was just learning. So he agreed with me. He said that okay, I'll fix all those 6 punctures and you will be ready to go. And he took almost 30 minutes to fix those punctures, and I got on my motorcycle, and the time he started filling the air, it was all out. And then I called his owner that where are you, I want, because that kid was really young, and he said that I'm not going to take the risk of opening the wheel till the time my owner doesn't come. So the time that guy came, and he said that first of all he scolded the kid that why did you fix 6 punctures, are you stupid and all, and I told him that it's my fault, don't say anything to him, because first of all I don't know that I didn't know that fixing tire puncture takes more time than changing the wheel. I was under the impression that changing wheel takes more time than fixing tires. So that's why I told him that, you know, then fixing tire punctures. So that's why I told him that, you know what, you fix the tire puncture because changing wheel will take more time. And then the owner of the shop, what he did was that he quickly changed the tube and then fixed the wheel, and I was ready to go. And he told me that yeah, you have wasted not only our time but also your own time. And I told him, yeah, I completely agree, because this tire puncture has happened with me for the first time in past 13 years. So I mean, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. Now this is something which you might think, okay, Ali was really stupid with the decision he took, and I completely agree with you. But in past 13 years it was my first tire puncture on motorcycle, and it is really miraculous that I've been to Ladakh, I've been to so many solo trips to so many states and cities, but this was the first time it happened on my Bullet, and in past 13 years that was my first tire puncture. So maybe because I ride slow and I make sure I avoid all the potholes, and especially when I'm riding off road or in a on a very bad road, I make sure I avoid all the small pebbles and everything. But maybe because of that skill, I just got just one tire puncture in past 13 years, and first time on my Bullet, and that was great. But of course, the decision which I took was really stupid. So for all of you guys who are using the tube tire, make sure whenever a tire puncture happens, especially when the tire puncture is more than 2, then make sure that you get the tube changed. It takes less time than fixing more than 2 tire punctures. So that was my story. Slightly embarrassing. I'm not sharing it in a very proud way. I know I should have asked that guy to change the tube rather than fixing all those 6 punctures, and really that is something really embarrassing for me. I even shared it with my friends and they all were laughing, and they have to. I mean, those who had any knowledge about this, they all should laugh at me. That's okay. Slightly embarrassing, but I thought I should share it with you so that the mistake which I made, none of you is going to make. This was the reason. This small nail was there in the tire. It was completely inside, and as I rode for more 100 kilometers to reach the shop, this nail made 6 more punctures, or 5 or 6 more punctures in the tube, because of which there were 6 punctures. So this one nail made my day really bad on that day, but I won't call it, I should not say it was bad, because I learned a lot, and that's okay. A great lesson it was for me that day. So all of you, thank you so much for again watching my video, and especially this embarrassing video. But thank you so much for your support, and if you haven't subscribed the channel, then make sure you subscribe, and I'll be waiting for your comment. I would be waiting to know what is your reaction on this video. So I'm waiting for your comments. If you like the video, don't forget to like the video, share it, subscribe, and please comment. I'm waiting for your comment, and don't forget to subscribe it. So thank you so much. Keep riding. Bye bye. Take care.